Welcome to the Tidal League podcast. I'm Kurt.
And I'm Trish.
And today we're joined by MCW, Mr. Michael Carter-Williams of the Orlando Magic. And you know, Trish, we've been lucky. A lot of WNBA players. Nice to switch back and forth. What do you think?
Nice to be back in the men's league. That's a thing, right? Those guys do something.
Yes, the men are a thing. And who was the last guy
we had? Our friend Miles Turner, who I want to be best friends with, our Lego king.
Exactly. So yeah, I know you.
I like any player who's going to be a bit of a nerd off the court.
Of course.
So I'm really excited actually for Michael to come on, because not to call him out, because I don't know if he would take being called a nerd a positive thing. To me, that is a super compliment. But my MCW has a lot of different interests that go beyond basketball, so it's going to be fun to hammer into some of that.
And special shout out to his mom, Mandy, who's been on our show Courtside Moms as well. So there's a little bit of family history here.
There's also speaking of Courtside Moms, we have the connection where he's our boy Khem Birch's former teammate from a long time before the NBA as well. But be interesting to see if MCW will tell us what the Magic is like without Khem Birch.
Well, I'm excited to learn so much more about him. He's 8 years into his NBA career and really want to get a true understanding of what it's been like and, shine a light that maybe a lot of people don't necessarily see off the court as well. So we'll get into all of that with MCW. Welcome to the Tidal League podcast. Michael Carter-Williams of the Orlando Magic. MCW, how's your day going?
My day's going great. Yours?
We're great, man. We're excited to have you on. We really appreciate your time today. As we said, shout out to your mom, Mandy. We've had her on our other show, Courtside Moms. So have a little bit of history and know a little bit about your story and really want to tap into it today. So again, thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate that.
Well, let's get into it. I wanted to just start on some of the really, really cool news. Your brother is declared for the NBA draft. He's sitting on some of the draft boards. He had a great run this season. How are you prepping him now for his big moment that will change his life and make him a professional athlete?
I just, he's already a professional. He's got that professional mindset. He's a mature kid, so I really don't have to say too much to him. I'm just, here for any questions he has. He's been working out down in Miami, so he's been grinding, preparing himself for the workouts, doing everything he possibly can to, climb up that ladder.
And, at what point now is it, he's a little bro, you've obviously got the mental on him, but is he starting to, you're recovering from an ankle injury, but when you're on the court with him, are you like, damn, I got to be careful. He's going to catch me slipping one of these days.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's a competitive kid. I'm competitive. So, we go back and forth. But I gotta play all out now. I can't slack off a little bit. So he's at that level where I gotta be serious.
How often? I know that there's lots of siblings that are in the NBA or in the NBA and the W, but it's still a pretty rare thing to have two professional athletes in the family. What is it about your upbringing or your genes that have produced such high level athletes?
I think you said it right. It was our upbringing, right? We dove into basketball at an early age. We're a basketball family. We watch, all types of basketball games from high school, college to the NBA when I was growing up. That was just our thing. That was our way of life. My mom coached, my stepfather coached. All my siblings played, and so we kind of got a head start on the game a little bit with them being coaches. We got to go watch them coach other people, learn how to play the game the right way. So we got a head start in that aspect. And then they're just, they're old fashioned, they believe in hard work. They believe that, what you put in is what you get out. So, it was an everyday thing, before going to a friend's house, it was working out. You got to get your workout in before you go anywhere. Can't have people over until you work out. It was just, that was our way of, growing up. So, but it definitely paid off in the end.
Wow.
That's awesome. Honestly, like I always, you have these conversations, and definitely there's tons of parents out there who want their kids to be professional athletes, whatever the sport is. And everybody thinks like, we're Canadian, so hockey is like the big thing. So everybody here, I should say, growing up thinks that their kid's going to be like in the NHL and the next Sidney Crosby and this most of the time, no matter how hard you work, you're not going to get to that level. But it's really interesting when you talk about your upbringing, because that's a level of dedication to honing a talent, a natural talent, whatever it is, that most parents would never think about doing or think about prioritizing.
Yeah. And it was actually funny story. One of my friends, from middle school, actually, I was talking to him about a couple months ago, and he was like, I always remember like asking you to come over, and you'd be like, all right, but I got to go to home to work out. And he'd be like, okay, like, my bad. Like,
right.
And then we were in like fifth grade or whatever. So yeah, it's it's definitely a different thing, but like I said, it was more of so that's just the way our family was, that's just the way our family was. Like, we wanted to, we played all sports growing up. It wasn't like we only played one sport. So we played, basketball, football, baseball. My sister was in soccer. All of us did a lot of different things. But once we kind of came into ourselves and been like, okay, I want to play basketball in high school. I want to play in college. I want to be in the NBA. It was like, okay, this is what, this is the only road we know how to, get you to, a scholarship to college.
So who was the tougher coach? Was it mom or dad?
Mom, easily. No doubt.
Like,
no hesitation.
I'm like, I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you did it. Yeah, definitely mom.
So just give us some background, some context. Like maybe it was before high school or in high school. Was it just like, commentary on your games? Was it maybe talking a little trash? Like what was it?
I don't know. Your mom's just all moms just know how to get underneath your skin. So, combine that with, coaching and, at the end of the day, like it's your mom. So sometimes you're like, you think that like maybe you can say something back. But,
That's hilarious. You think that you can say something back.
in the basketball world, at least.
That's really cute. NCW. It's cute.
But no, I mean, like she just, I don't know. It's just her voice. Her voice will, get your attention at all times. So it's, she's definitely the tougher one.
You talk about just growing up and you played all sports, but gravitated towards basketball. And there must have been, outside of obviously your family, like who were some of those individuals that you looked up to in the league that you used to, whether it was someone that was a legend for you or your idol, or you had a poster up of them, or you try to, idolize their game and make it your own. Who are some of those figures for you?
To be honest, like I said, my stepfather, he coached high school. He coached Charlestown High School for about 11, 12 years. And I was young, so I looked up to those guys who were in high school. I remember they used to go to college. I'd try to get, their jerseys. There was point guards that I looked up to and Tony Chapman and, guys that a lot of people, might not know, but those were my idols growing up. I watched those guys. I used to go to their games, cry when they lost. Like, what I mean? Like I was so invested, in wanting them to do so well. Because those were, like I said, those are my idols. Those are my heroes at the time. So those are the people that I looked up to. I love the NBA. I love to watch. I just never had, that one guy who I was like, he's my favorite player in the world. All my favorite players were like, on those high school teams.
Special.
That's interesting. So there wouldn't be, so when you were growing up, there wasn't anybody that you said that there wasn't, these were the high school guys. But so if we're doing a GOAT conversation, who's the GOAT?
I still think MJ's the GOAT.
Good answer.
Yeah, I mean, he can do, he could have done pretty much anything on the court, super athletic. There's so many guys that, are great, and there's a handful in that conversation. But for me, it's Michael Jordan.
Do you ever sometimes stop and like think like, shit, I'm in this group, like I'm here, I've made it. It's hard to make it. There's tons of guys and girls out there that have such amazing talent and they don't make it, and here I am.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I used to think of that a lot about, when I first got to the NBA and I'd be going against, the best players in the world. And I used to be like, man, like, I can't believe I'm going against this guy tonight. I can't believe I'm going against that guy tonight. And, it's special. I kind of let it, pass me by, sometimes, just because you just get so caught up in it, and you're just like, this is what I've been doing all my life. This is what I've been grinding for. But it's weird. Like, a lot of people, you go to those camps and they're like, nobody makes it to the NBA, only like 0.2% or whatever. And it was so weird. I could just remember my mind state back then and just being like, let it just go one ear and out the other. It wasn't like I didn't have the mindset like, yeah, right, like I'm going to prove you wrong. I was just like, whatever, like, sure. And then like I just go continue on, kind of my path. And so sometimes I think like, I know it's a super great thing and a super big accomplishment, but I always like am just like on to the next kind of thing.
And I don't want to jump too far ahead, but you also have continuously proven your spot and that you belong in that league, and in ways that a lot of the other players that are currently there haven't. You've earned it more than just that draft day, right? I don't know if you want to get into that too much. I don't want to jump. I'm not usually the one that asks the basketball questions, so I'm going to make sure that Kurt's not going to yell at me. But I think that I honestly, like, you have a journey that you should be proud of, because you've proven more than that one time that you deserve to be in the league, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, it definitely makes sense. I've had, unbelievable moments in the NBA. I've had down moments. I've been through so much in the NBA, and I've always am proud of myself because I always, am able to prevail. I'm able to add, something to a team, and which I think that's what, basketball is about. Everybody's not going to be the main guy all the time. So, or not even basketball, anything in life, any organization, like, if you're bringing something positive to your team, to your organization, to, where you work, then you're doing your job at the end of the day. And that's what I try to do each day. Just bring something positive, bring something that's going to help win games, and, let the rest, let my work, behind closed doors control everything else.
Yeah. I think, we as fans, because we're fans of the game, so that's why we do this podcast, and we want to get to know the players more. We want to get behind the scenes. But one thing that we do kind of in general is we pick those one superstar, these one or two players that we idolize and we walk. But those one or two players don't win anything. They don't win a game. They don't win a championship. They don't win anything. Like, it's a team sport where every single person and everybody who is involved in the team is what contributes to us having a win as a team or as a fan. So yeah, I think that it's important that I don't think that we just kind of look at the stars. I think that we realize, like, those of us who are true sports fans, true basketball fans, know and criticize every single person on the team, and we celebrate every single person on the team. But it's not just like, at least me, I'll speak for myself. I don't just look at the one. I look at the whole.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, basketball is a big team sport. Look at all the big moments that role players have had in the history of the game. And, if they don't, perform that well, the stars of the league, they don't happen.
And Michael, like, there are only 450 players in this league, and getting there is one thing, but staying there is another. You're in your 8th year. You have, like you said, you've had some amazing moments. There's been some tough moments. The NBA is such a hard place, and a lot of people they don't really understand how hard it is to stay in this league. So, can you share, just on your journey, how have you been able to keep your mental right through the adversity?
It's been hard, it's been tough. I got, fortunately, I have a strong supporting cast, in my family, and the mother of my child, and my mom, my stepfather, my dad, my stepmother, my brothers and sisters. But I've had to, I've had to find my way. I've had to, think, what's important. I've had to learn not to fight myself in a battle that, I'm not going to win. You have to find, what keeps you in the league. And I think that the biggest thing is, to do what's asked of you, to create more, a leash or more wiggle room for you to achieve your own personal goals. And that's the biggest thing. So if I know the coach wants me to go out there and play defense, I'm going to play the best possible defense I can. I don't care if I score a basket in the game. I don't care if I get an assist in the game. All I know is that I'm going out there and I'm going to play the best possible defense. And then, as he, as I gain some trust, then I can do some of the things that maybe I have aspirations to do. And I think it's hard for people who are at a professional level to understand that. And I think that's why so many guys who are super talented don't end up making it in the NBA or be in the NBA for 1 year or 2 years, because in their minds, they want to come in and do what they want to do instead of maybe what somebody else wants them to do. And they're constantly fighting that battle. And what's in that battle, you're going to lose every single time. So
talk about it quite a bit about there's a lot of talented people out there, and, it comes down to understanding what your role is and adapting and changing and doing what's for the betterment of the team, right? And when the team wins, everybody wins. And, I think just here at Tidal League, we're talking the other day about a guy like Raja Bell. Raja Bell has said, I was never the most athletic guy. I was not the most talented guy, but I found a way to play in the NBA for as long as I did, because I knew how to play defense and how to shoot the ball. And when you can truly understand that, you'll flourish, because it is hard when everyone's coming into this and you've dominated at the college level, you've dominated the high school level, and then you have to realize, okay, now we've got 450 of the best players in the world. How do I fit in here, and how do I navigate that? And I think now with where you are, not only are you seasoned, you've got a family, you're raising a daughter, you must just approach every single day a lot different than you did as a rookie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't even know what was going on as a rookie. So but no, I definitely approach every day differently. I know I think about more than myself, because, like you said, I have a little one, and, she's made me a better person. She's made me a better man. And I think that, she's got me more focused than, I've ever been. So I definitely wake up with, my goals in mind, and I'm focused on what I'm trying to do. And I just let less things bother me. Things don't really, I only care about the things that, that really matter.
Do you have any aspirations for her to be a basketball player? Are you making her do workouts before she can go
Oh no, I mean,
toddler time? She said she's little. How old is she?
and a half. So
she's little. You can't go to daycare unless you do your workout. Like, are we there?
It's funny though. She does her little workout. She puts the band around her legs, and she just walks around.
Awesome.
She says, "I need to work out." But no, she's active. She's in swim lessons. We play outside. Whatever she wants to do, I'm all cool with that. If she wants to hoop, then she's in for a long ride, because she's got a bunch of uncles and aunts and grandparents that play. So it's gonna be a lot of attention on her if she does want to play basketball. So whatever she wants to do.
So it makes you a proud girl dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Soon to be just I don't know if they call it boy and girl dad, but we're expecting a baby boy on the end of July. So that's gonna be fun as well.
Congratulations, man.
That's just being a dad. Once you got two of them, you're a dad. But you'll always be a girl dad.
Wow. And talking about just girl dad and all of that, just looking at your social media, you've been able to share the court with so many legends. You've played with a guy like Kobe Bryant. You've been able to have some conversations with him. He was the ultimate girl dad, and he was advocating so much for the women's game and the WNBA, and it just not just what he did on the court, but what he was doing off the court. So What was
Just so you're in the know, he thinks Kobe's the GOAT. He does not agree with me and you that it's MJ.
MJ's the GOAT? I'm not. Listen, stop that nonsense.
Okay. Now that we have Michael on the show, and he said that he thinks MJ's the GOAT.
I know MJ's
all of a
the
sudden,
GOAT.
MJ's the GOAT. Okay. All right. Anyway, yes. Continue with
But
your question.
aside from the banter, just tell us a little bit about those experiences you did have with Kobe. You know, very few people can say that they shared the court with him, and very few people can say they had conversations with him.
Yeah, obviously, it's an unreal, moment in my career to, be on the floor with him and have conversations with him. And one specific conversation I can remember is there was a loose ball that somebody tipped the ball and it went really high in the air. And we were on defense, they were on offense, and me and Jordan Clarkson, we both went to grab the ball, but like we bumped into each other and the ref called a foul on me. And the shot clock was going down. And I remember Kobe coming up to me while Jordan was at the foul line, like, he was like, yo, why would you jump for that ball? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, it was a loose ball. Like, my first instinct was just to go get it. And he was like, yeah, but the shot clock was running down. If you would have grabbed it, you'd have to shoot like a 50-footer. And I was like, touche, like, you're probably right. And then I was just like, yo, I just going after it off instinct. And he was just like, kind of like nodded his head. And then there was another time I was playing defense on him in the post, and I clean strip to this day. They called a foul though, and I was like, if that wasn't Kobe being Bryant, I don't know if that's going to be a foul. And he just laughed. So I mean, I just I cherish those moments. They're little things. He was, like you said, he was such a great person, off the court with dealing with, advocating for girls basketball and being a girl dad, and it's inspirational for me.
Whether you're reacting to breaking news, starting a watch party for a big game, or debating who should win MVP, Locker Room is the best place for live conversations about sports. Download Locker Room for free today on the Apple App Store.
I think too, going back to that, you're going to now have a son. There's a friend of mine. There'd be so much pressure normally, like traditionally, there'd be so much pressure on the son of a basketball player to take, follow in his father's footsteps and to do all of that. And a lot of people, even in my close circle of friends who have kids and whose dads have played professional basketball, the girl kind of gets dismissed and it's all the pressure is put onto the boy. And what I love to see is that we're living in a world now where that's not the case, where it's like, if your girl wants to be a baller, she can be a baller. And we're huge fans of the WNBA. We've interviewed a lot of WNBA players. So to me, it's equally as, neither. So both your kids don't have to be athletes either, by the way. So let's put that out there. They can be whatever they want. They want to be an accountant, they can be an accountant. They want to run for president, they can run for president, like anything they want. But aside from all of that, being the kids of a basketball player, it's not just your son that has that dream that he can follow in your footsteps.
Right. Absolutely. It's either one of them. Like you said, they can choose to play. They can not choose to play. It's honestly totally up to them. I would love if they did play some sports. Well, it's probably going to be mandatory that they play sports when they're younger. But
your 2-year-old's already working out with bands, doing band exercises. Come on.
Michael, just talking to Trisha's point, if they want to run for president, let them run for president. The U.S. is, you've grown up there, you've spent your whole life in this country, and we're now living in a time where we've been able to really expose some of the weaknesses, both on the gender side and both on the racial side. You got a chance to meet Mr. 44, Mr. Barack Obama. Tell us a little bit about that, and more importantly, how you're now raising a young daughter and soon to be a son in this world.
Yeah, that was a great experience. We got to go to the White House, meet President Obama. That was really cool. As another time that I will never forget. It was a unreal moment, and I cherish that moment as well. Raising kids in today's world is it's scary. It makes you think a lot, especially a lot of things that are going on. I'm in a position where, thankfully that, I can provide for my kids in a way where, those issues, have a lesser chance, I would say, to, kind of hit home. Even anything can happen to anybody, but, I just think that, I teach them to be good people, teach them to love all people, no matter what. And, the rest is in God's hands. And, just that's what I firmly believe in, teach everybody just to, be nice, it's, kind of real simple, and just to, the right from wrong, and to, try to make the best decisions you can.
Well, being one of 450 players and one of the most looked at league in the world, you have quite a spotlight and you have a platform. What are some issues that you try to bring forward and use your platform for good?
I definitely am a big part of, the social justice movement. My coach and I, we've kind of been the forefront for the Orlando Magic on that matter. And, we try to speak to the community. I've been to town hall meetings. I just, try to, get, really inside the community and listen to, them and what they want. I've met with policemen. I've met with, the chief of police, to kind of hear that, what they, want from the community. And, I've just found that, everybody wants the same thing. Nobody, wants harm. Nobody, wants anything bad. You want the same thing. I just think it's the avenues of getting there and how you can get there to, everybody's goal. And, I think that's what, needs to be figured out. And I think that's what I try to do, inclusion and, everybody, and just, try to have more people communicate on a daily basis. I think Black culture shouldn't only see police when bad things are going wrong, and same thing with police. They shouldn't see Black, culture when things are going wrong. It should be, I should be able to know you, maybe by your name, right? Not by, the badge that you have on your chest. That way, I could say hi to you when you walk by. You know what I mean? Just little things like, that they're people as well. So, I just think that's the biggest issue, and that's what I try to involve myself in.
We're talking earlier about 8 years in now, you've, from an injury standpoint, whether it's been your shoulder, your hip, your knee, now nagging injury with the ankle, how do you prep and get ready for next season? We're actually going to have a real off season. We're going to have time that you can focus on your body, get right. What are some of the things that you're doing now just to get the body feeling at as close to 100% as possible?
Yeah, no, I just, I'm rehabbing now. I plan on putting a lot of work in this summer, especially in the weight room, and, just doing anything I can to get my, my body 100% and durable, so I can go, the whole year next year.
And what is that like? Tell us what your routine looks like right now every day, because people think that, oh, it's physio, it's easy. Like it is a lot of work physically and mentally. It's exhausting. So just give us the insight into a day of MCW.
Usually go to the gym in the morning, eat breakfast there. I, get some rehab, stretch out, roll out, then we lift, depending on, what day it is, we'll do upper or lower body. Or, if it's conditioning that day, we don't lift as much, we do some conditioning. And then after that, about 45 minutes to an hour after that, we go on the court. We get, our court work in, whether it's shooting, layups, dribbling, the whole nine. And after that, we do, some more treatment just so everything's feeling good after our workouts. And then I come home and spend time with the little one.
It's amazing. So it's work, and you guys have a very interesting young core. There is a lot of trades made at the deadline. You're on contract next year with the Magic. How are you guys bonding, and what do you think of the pieces that this team has? Obviously, Cole Anthony, you've got J.I. who will be coming back. Markelle Fultz has just come and said his knee's feeling really good. Yeah. Tell us about the crew and how you feel as the leader of this team who's been around for longer than most of them.
I'm excited. Everybody's excited that we get our, a healthy group back. We got some new guys. We got some, draft picks that are probably going to get some, pretty good players. So everybody's excited, man. We felt like we have a lot of talent on this team, and we could really do some damage in this league. And we've always, kind of this whole year, like we've been trying to stay focused, but in the back of our minds, it's always been, only if we were healthy, like just imagine we could do. And we see other teams that are doing really well, and kudos to them. But we have confidence that we're right there with them when we're healthy.
I feel like every team I feel like there were a lot of injuries this season.
So,
And I don't know if that, like, if COVID has anything to play into it, but it feels like every time you turn around, no matter who the team is, they have half their team almost out or people out. Like, and I don't know. It's a lot, right? It's more than normal. Yeah.
Just build on that though. Like you're, typical person's 9 to 5. You guys have had, there was a bubble, straight out of the bubble into the season. The first part of the season, you couldn't even leave your hotel on the road. What has it been like, just as someone who this is your job?
Yeah, it's a grind. It's definitely a grind. It's this year was different. There's a lot more games in a shorter amount of time. So I think that's the biggest reason for injury. And yeah, it's a grind. It's taxing on your body. The traveling is, one thing that people really don't understand, how much traveling is taxing on your body, from flying at places and coming home at 3 in the morning. Sorry. And your sleep being not normal, I should say. And yeah, so that's the biggest thing is, the travel and the wear and tear on your body.
And I would say that traveling with the restrictions and with the protocols that are in place now because of COVID makes it difficult, like more difficult than normal too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We focus a lot on that. We talk a lot about the emotional impacts of being in a pandemic, from the lockdown first, like in March of 2020, and just the different. But I mean, I'm not overlooking that. Definitely, the mental health aspects of it have been straining, but the physical aspects, they kind of go hand in hand. Like I would say, like, and they probably carry over into the physical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like your mental health isn't helping your physical health at all, right? Both of them need to be kept in check.
You have to definitely keep your mental right, and keep stable and have a quick memory. If you have a bad game, let it go. And, there's probably going to be one the next day or the day after that. So it's definitely a league. If you play in, you have to have a short-term memory and just be able to flip the page quick.
Well, you had a trade that took place in Orlando that I wanted to touch on because he's a player that's close to us. We talked about Courtside Moms and the show that your mom Mandy was on. Well, it's hosted by Khem Birch's mother, and now Khem is gone. He's now a Toronto Raptor, and he's on a very different path. And how much do you miss him?
I miss Khem. I've known Khem for a while. I've known Khem
You
since
guys played, yeah.
Yeah, I've known Khem since I was in high school. So he's a great dude. He's a hard worker. I know it's his home, Canada, so he was itching to, kind of get back there a little bit. And, I know him and Coach Vogel over there are, they're close. So he, yeah, I'm happy for him just because, I think he's, really happy over there.
What happens when a team member that you're close to and you have a relationship with off the court is no longer a part of your team? How do you fill that gap?
It's hard. There's guys that I've grown close to and that had to leave, and myself, I've been traded. I've left team as well. It is hard. You build relationships with guys, and it's tough. But you learn from it. You be in this league long enough, you see it so many times, it becomes a little bit numb to you.
It's hard. I mean, not just the players. I mean, you're in a city. You have relationships with the personnel. There's so many different people that you're touching on a daily basis where you're impacting their lives and they're impacting your lives. So, everyone says the cliche, well, it's the business of the NBA, but we're still human. I mean, that's got to be tough, man.
Yeah, I think people forget that sometimes, but they just think that, because all the perks that, we do get, that we should be able to, handle anything. But Yeah, it's tough. It's tough at the end of the day. My biggest thing, I try not to think about it. I just, just try to stay positive and, you know, just experience the good things that are going on in my life.
Aside from where you are now in Orlando, what is one of the cities you've played in that you really, enjoyed and it was tough leaving? Whether obviously you're in Philly for a while, but even some of the short stints you make an impact. There's relationships there. Tell us, which one was it?
Charlotte was hard to leave. I built a great relationship with Kemba and Marvin Williams and Frank Kaminsky and Jeremy Lamb. All of us. That group of guys are. We were really close. Um, we invite each other to our weddings, like that type of close. So that was tough to leave. We still keep in touch, but that was a hard team to leave.
Wow. And you came into the NBA in a very unusual situation where it was a team that had so much, just there was no stability. Whereas now you are able to actually help your rookies.
Yeah.
Were there any vets that you had that you could say helped you?
I had guys that were in the league about you know 5 years. Not really guys that are super vets. Like I definitely had people give me advice, and Evan Turner and um, Thad Young and Spencer Hawes. Those three guys have been in the league for a little bit, and they were still trying to figure themselves out. They were still trying to, at that point, fight for their own next contracts and things like that. So it was tough not having a real seasoned vet to kind of show me the way, kind of teach me the importance of taking care of your body, and what type of work you need to put in to be successful. I think that that's one thing that I could say when I was younger that I really wish that I had. Um, but that's what I try to do with guys that are coming in now.
And what are you doing with some of those guys? Like, these guys who are coming in at 19, and it's, yeah, you said you didn't even know what you were doing as a rookie. And now it's like, oh, well, my life has completely changed. I'm earning a lot of money. There's a lot of people who are now in this circle or trying to get into my circle. It's not your place to tell them what to do with their lives, but you definitely pay it forward and you lead and you help where you can. What does that look like?
Yeah, I think that what I try to do is, when I got in the league, it was like, if you got treatment and you're always on the table, coaches might be looking at you funny, or you know what I mean. And now I'm just like, hey, like, the most important thing you can do is taking care of your body. Like, you see LeBron spends $1 million a year on his body. Like, that's the biggest key, to stay healthy in this league. To, you got to really work every single day, day in and day out. Make sure you're always in the weight room. Like, this is your life now. Like, this is what, you got to be in the gym if you want to be successful. There's always guys coming in behind you trying to take your spot. So, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but like, that's what, reality is, and you've got a great opportunity. Young guys come in this league, they have an amazing opportunity to do something special. And, I try to preach them that, this is only the beginning of their journey. They've came in and accomplished, their life goal, but, that's kind of just a start.
What are the odds of your brother being drafted to the Magic?
Man, I mean, that would be unbelievable. I'm not sure what the odds are, but that would be special.
Wow. Imagine.
Has
That'd be pretty
has that
cool.
happened? Have
Yeah,
there
I mean,
been?
there's many brothers that.
I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if
don't know.
they got drafted to the same team. I don't
They're
know.
on the
They're
yeah.
on the same team, but
I mean, anything is possible, but at the very least, it may not be on the same team, but I'm sure you'll play against him.
Yeah, if you play against them, that's going to be fun. That's probably more fun to watch.
that's going to be awesome.
So, as we are just talking about what you're doing and helping guys, what do you do now from, you're not able to be on the court and impact the game directly. How do you impact the game when you're not playing?
Um, yeah, like I said, I'm a leader on the team, so I definitely try to give advice to the young guys. Anything I see, you know, I let them know. I try to be as vocal as I can. Um, I always am trying to push guys to to get better and do what's necessary for the team. And we had a lot of guys that were in Orlando that were in Orlando for a long time, and they left. So it's my job and T Ross and Markel and to build a culture here, and to a new culture that guys have to come in. We have draft picks, and how do we want them to view our organization when they first walk in? So building a culture is the biggest thing.
So you're focused on working with your team and supporting your team. You spend time with your family. What do you do, Mike, that is like not basketball related to fill the void of not playing? So like we had Victor Oladipo, he did the Masked Singer. He had a whole tour during his injury. What sort of fun things do you do that aren't basketball related, if any?
I'm into so many different things right now. I'm trying to start up a business that is pretty low right now, so I don't want to talk about it too much. But I'm starting that. I've dove into the NFT crypto world, so I kind of in that phase a little bit, and just keeping myself busy, spending time with my daughter, you know, just pretty much anything.
So you're not on The Masked Singer.
No, I'm not on the last thing.
Okay. Are you on The Masked Dancer? Are you on any reality TV program where your identity would be obscured in some way so that we wouldn't know who you are?
Nope.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
And talking about that, you're exploring, you're really setting yourself up because at one point in time you just can't play till you're 50. Eventually you have to transition. What are some of the things that you've really gravitated towards? Do you see yourself staying closely connected to the game, or do you see yourself moving into a different direction?
That's a good question. That's tough. It's something that I at first, my first couple of years in the league, I was like, when I'm done with this, I'm done. But as I've gotten older, I've had mixed feelings about it. I don't know if it's the NBA level, maybe it's high school, maybe it's, college. I'm not sure. I want to do some traveling. I want to, watch my kids play sports. So, I don't know. I'm into a lot of things. I love, I'm a big MMA fan, so I love, UFC, and I also love to watch boxing. So I got my hands in there a little bit. So I don't know. It's really, it depends how I feel, at that time.
So do you, this is where this game is such at times love-hate relationship, because there are times where you absolutely love it. There's times where it hasn't been kind back to you. Like, how do you, when it's your job every single day, how do you still find that passion of, okay, I love this grind. I want to get back. I want to be hooping at a high level. Because you said earlier, like sometimes you just kind of get caught in the motions. Just like when you came in, you're like, holy, I'm going up against this guy tonight. At the end of the day, they're all your colleagues now. It's not about looking up to one guy different than the other, but you still got to love playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, for me personally, I always love playing, no matter, no matter what league it's in, whether it's the NBA, whether it's when I'm 55 years old and I'm playing in the 50 and over league, it doesn't matter. I always, I love hoop. So whenever I'm out there, I'm enjoying myself. And it just feels good, it feels good to go out there and play well. You know what I mean? It's not the best feeling in the world when you're going out there and you're stinking it up. So, I work, so hard, for my family, myself, and for my own well-being. I love the feeling of going out there, performing well. And, that gives me a sensation that, that's something that's hard to fill.
And what are some of those things that you have on your, we always are setting goals. Everyone sets goals. Sometimes they don't think they're setting goals, but, where you are now, what are some of the top 3 things that you want to hit off throughout the rest of your career, whether it's, self-development or playoffs, or what are some of those things?
Yeah, I definitely want to get back to the playoffs. That's one thing. I love playing in the playoffs. The intensity is so, crazy and so fun. Having the fans back, especially, during the playoffs is,
Listen, I'll stop you there because you played that game one upset against the Toronto Raptors, where you played really well, and who put 30 on us that night? Who was it? Your point guard.
was it DJ?
It was yes, it was DJ Augustine put up like 30 something, and you guys upset Toronto in the first round. That first game of the first round series, and then obviously Toronto went on to win the championship that year. But you played it at that game, and it was electric.
Yeah, it was a fun game. It was, like I said, it's the playoffs, so anything can happen. Fortunately, after that, we couldn't find a way to stop Kawhi, so it was definitely fun. It's always the NBA. The playoffs are always great.
Do you think the Raptors deserve that championship?
Oh God, here we go. Bad enough that you talk to the man about the round that they lost to the Raptors in, and now we're gonna have this conversation if the Raptors deserve the championship. The Raptors won the championship. There should be no more conversation about it. They got the chip. It's done. Like, why are we still talking about it? Yeah. That should be the only subject. Oh yes, they won. Who won in 2019? Oh, the Toronto Raptors. End of conversation. Moving on.
I just want to get his take.
Go ahead.
Of course. I mean, I don't see what's your take on why they.
Well, a lot of people say it's the Golden State Warriors. KD goes down, no Clay. Like,
it happens every year, though. Look at San Antonio, Kawhi.
Thank you. It happens every year. Thank you.
We went down. Who else? They had another injury too. It was when Golden State won it. It was Kawhi first, and it was Kyrie, and Chris Paul. Chris Paul went down
in the Houston series. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I mean, it's injuries always happen.
Listen, you're talking and going back and unlocking some memories for me. But how much of a fan of the game are you? Are you locked in watching the playoffs, or do you kind of just tune it out?
No, I'm locked in. I love watching the playoffs. Playoffs are, good ball. I enjoy it. There's, legendary moments that happen all the time.
And, as you're out here with all these guys on a nightly basis, who would you say today when you're out there, this season, the games you've played, who is the hardest guard that you have to guard? That just gives you problems and you're just like, man, like, you just got to chill. Let me breathe.
It's tough, man. It's tough. There's guys that, depends on, what night, sometimes it's Steph, could be Kyrie, could be Dame, could be Russ. Like, it just depends, any one of those guys get hot. Like, there's not much you can do.
Well, you said a handful of amazing guards. So yeah, we won't dig into it more. Just a couple more things for me. Just your Mount Rushmore. Who is it?
It's a tough question. I am going to go with MJ, of course, Kareem. I'll go with LeBron.
MJ, Kareem, LeBron.
Magic.
Wow. Okay.
And Kobe.
Wow. I like it. And you're playing in a 3-on-3 tournament. You can put yourself on your squad. You can put 4 guys on the team, so you got 1 sub, but you can only pick guys that you've played with to be your teammates. Who are they?
So I got to pick 4 guys.
James. No, well, if you include yourself, just 3.
Okay, so James Harden, Jimmy Butler.
Wow.
Need a big.
Vooch. Wow. So Vooch, Jimmy Butler, James Harden, and you.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think you're putting your money on that, 10 times out of 10, eh?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty solid.
Trish.
So I have questions too that I end every episode with. They have nothing to do with basketball. So just the first answer that comes to mind. If you were to write your autobiography today, what would you call it?
The story of MCW.
The story of MCW. Who would you get to play you in the movie?
Will Smith.
That's a good call. And what TV show, either past or present, can you relate to the most?
TV show, past or present. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge Martin fan, so I love to joke all the time. So it'd probably be Martin.
That's awesome. That's a great answer.
Well, you were on it.
That's good. You didn't have to think. It's like you prepped. Did you watch our episodes? You know what my questions are.
Nope, did not know what question.
Listen, he knew him. And what about any shout outs that we can plug for you, or anything that we can help, any of your initiatives we can help support from afar?
Yeah, also, I have an AAU team. It's got about 15, 16 girls teams and a couple boys teams. It's called MCW Stars. So shout out to all my girls and, a couple of my little guys on MCW Stars. They've done a great job and they work really hard. So, and, it goes along the lines of, kind of pushing girls basketball. So I'm definitely shout out to them.
Amazing.
Love
and
that.
if there's any way we can ever get them up or help with a tournament or a trip to Canada, listen,
You let us know.
You let us know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And, lastly, before we wrap up, just wanted to say thanks, man. Really appreciate you coming on today, because it's been a pleasure. Followed your career and really looking forward to what's next, man. I think you've got your prime ahead of you. Gonna be 30 soon, and you're well equipped for what's next.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Whether you're reacting to breaking news, starting a watch party for a big game, or debating who should win MVP, Locker Room is the best place for live conversations about sports. Download Locker Room for free today on the Apple App Store. Thanks for tuning in to the Tidal League podcast. Join Trish and I every week as we take you into the lives of the players and personnel from the WNBA and the NBA. Tune in wherever you find your podcasts.